Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. We are live here in Middle Tennessee. It's the morning show. Not on TikTok, just realized. But that's all right. That's all right. All the Beckys, come on over to Facebook. We'll get TikTok going here in just a second. But we're glad that you are with us. This is the show where we show up to talk about things that matter to us, have great conversations, and just start the day off in a great way. We are live, though, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and again, we'll be live here in just a minute on TikTok. That being said, if you're live on Instagram, I do want you to know that we don't have a way of seeing your comments, unfortunately. I don't know if you're out there and you want to join the show.
Really?
I would encourage, it doesn't feed those in. Instagram is not exactly API friendly at this point in the game. Wow. Are you going to go find it? Well, Brittany said, I'm going to show up. We're bringing you to the show today.
I could just...
we're bringing you in.
Put it on my phone there.
Yeah. But I was just going to say, if you would like to make sure that you're a part of the show, be sure to hop on like Facebook or YouTube, join and be a part of it. And we'd love that. We'll go ahead and let TikTok in. Make sure no trolls get out here. You want to be famous? I've always wanted to be famous. Thank you, Strucid God. That's Twitch. Anyways, who all we have here on the comments? We've got TJ Pruitt. Good morning. Glad you're with us today. We've got Mark Henderson. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, sir. Hope you're having a great day. Brittany's bringing in the Instagram crew.
I am.
What you doing there? Oh, looky here. She's maneuvering. Look at you.
There we go.
How fancy. Brittany's got it on lockdown. Of course, they can't see it. We're going to have to figure out that.
Dyslexia and it works.
They just see like part of us.
Is hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Is awesome.
We've got Violet Merced in the house. Good morning. We've got Kiana Trimble in the house. Good morning. Glad that you all are with us. So today let's just talk for a second. All of us Middle Tennessee people. Did everyone hear that roaring clap of thunder last night that scared the ever-loving poo-poo out of everyone? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm very well aware of what you're talking about.
Like, what was that? Like 2 a.m, and it just it shook the house. It was crazy.
It was rough.
Crazy. Good morning. We got Becky on TikTok. Good morning to you. Glad
it was really rough.
With us.
It was one of those kinds of, it wasn't a rumble.
No, I mean, it was like,
boom.
It was an explosion, and then all of a sudden the thunder, then the thunder rolled.
Yeah, right, yeah. It was a boom, and it was very loud and obnoxious, and I didn't go back to sleep for like 45 minutes.
Now, that was not my problem. I went right back to bed.
When you're so disturbed, like when you wake up so disturbed like that, it's like almost, I don't know if it's adrenaline or what, just starts running and you're just like, oh my God, I can't go back to sleep.
Kinda. But you know what? I think the reason I could is like, I don't know, I just like made sense of it immediately. It's like,
Oh yes,
it's
I
thunder.
got up and
I'm
I was
going.
walking around my house. She feels us. Here.
Kiana said, I did not. Kayla had one here too. That clap was so strong, it went all the way to Arkansas. It was fantastic. TJ said, slept through it, LOL. Well, I didn't sleep through it, but, anyways, in Ohio, it shook me all night. You're so funny, Mark. I love it. Oh, my goodness. Kayla said, I totally understand.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was a crazy night. Let's see here. How many likes is your goal? I don't know, Liam. How many can you get me? Can you help us?
Oh my God. You are in a mood today.
I'm telling you. I'm just interacting. Just throwing things out there. Pew, 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 pew.
Buy followers. I'll tell you what you can't buy. Happiness.
Happiness, my God. Go ahead, try to sell it, I tell you. Oh my gosh. And then even this morning, we were in a little bit of a rush. I play ball on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and let me just say.
But I do appreciate the quality of showeredness that you are.
I did, y'all. I showered. I made sure, like we kind of had a talk, but not really had a talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're married over a decade.
It's to me a little bit.
Oh, you bet. It's because I smell so fresh.
It's true. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, if you'll look back on the show, if he's in his little, like his Herbalife stuff, chances are we're doing the show about like this.
Yeah. And I get it.
Which is funny
Well,
because you're not really like gross. It's just that.
No, but I mean, when you sweat,
It's that, yeah.
you can't, it is what it is. Like, there's just no getting around it.
Yeah.
But, anyways, so that usually runs me just a little bit late. Had a little tech issue. And then we spilled coffee all over our desk. That was no bueno.
30 seconds before opening shot there. And then I was still messing around with the camera angles before. And so that would have been an interesting opener of just like my hand,
Whose cup is this?
It's my dad's. I don't know why you have it.
I have no idea why I have it either, but I love it. I'm a man of strength. Check that out. Check out that cool mug. Can you see that? Man of strength. Reminds me of that old commercial. Real Man of Genius. Real Man of Genius. Speaking of Richard Martinez, that's the person who introduced that to me back in the day. Anyways, see, they saw it. They saw Real Man.
Both of them.
Man of Strength. TJ said spilled coffee is always sad.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I was so upset
sad.
because, there's 4 screens going. And so I was upset because I was like, oh, my God, it's going to get on something. And then as that initial, he went and got the, something to clean it up
Paper
with.
towels.
I can't think this morning. It's
Sounds
the thunder.
like.
And then he comes over and I was like, while I'm cleaning this up, top my cup off.
Yeah. I refuse to get on this show
without my
half
coffee.
empty.
Yeah.
Or is it half full?
It's all about your
Perspective. Did you see what we did there?
Yes.
Huh? Got on 2 wheels and segued on into the show.
Isn't it this, lower?
I've never rode one. I bet for me it would be like...
The ergonomics.
I would be like...
It's a teeny tiny thing.
Of course, you ever tried those... It's not a scooter. It's there's no handles and you just flip your heels like you call it the hoverboard, but it moves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but no.
Oh, man.
I've seen too many of the fails.
I promise you, for 3 seconds, I saw Jesus saying, come on home, because I about fell and busted myself.
Let me tell you something about that.
Okay.
That kept America's Funniest Home Videos in business for a good 2 years.
Oh, my gosh. You bet. Had to.
That's all it was hoverboards, was parents trying out. If I'm going to pay this much money for my kids, I'm going to try it out.
Absolutely.
It just fails epic.
Oh, hey, Mark's got a story. Fantastic. He said, you want my story and perspective on Zoom or the feed? I want it on the Zoom.
How do you?
Watch this.
Oh, you can see
Watch this. I've got things we can do. Mark, I'm about to text you right now. The real man of genius. I know when it gets in like my head, it's.
Fitting to do a show solo.
Oh my gosh, I love you. Paste. There you go. All right, Mark, it's on the way to you. This is awesome. Love to have you on here today. We have a few comments here. Jason, I told you need to be on the Paris team. I keep telling them, it's my time to shine, but it is what it is. I'm just kidding. TJ says, depends on whether you're drinking or pouring.
Coffee.
On whether or not.
I just know it's about coffee.
Oh, okay.
We were late in reading that.
Oh, sorry, T. Sorry. Uh-oh. We got somebody on the feed.
What is that?
What's what? LOL, but you have a cup. Becky said about the half full, half empty, mine blown. That's hilarious.
You know what's worse, though?
What?
Is when you have a full cup of coffee in the bathroom with a bird.
With a bird.
That's
okay?
always the worst.
And you automatically can't drink it because you don't know what has dropped into that cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll take a half and half.
Hey, we're going to have another guest.
We're going to have another guest here very
on the
soon.
show
That
today.
being said, Mark, do we have you with us? Is this muted?
I don't think so.
No?
Thing's not on there.
Man! Meatloaf. Oh, it shows that you're muted. Let me see here if I can unmute you, Mark. See if that'll work for you. There he is! Hey, Mark! What's going on, man?
There we go, man. What's going on?
Dude, we're just having a good time on a Tuesday. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just opened the garage. I hope the traffic isn't too much.
Do you hear that, toddler? Nothing is too much on this show.
I don't know how I have the bruises that I have.
Yeah, there we go. But here's my thought on perspective. I literally, it's funny that you guys were talking about that because I literally had to talk Eli down off of a ledge yesterday because awards came out and blah, blah, blah. And I said, dude, you got second team All Ohio. And he says, I suck.
Oh.
Second team. Second team, Dad. I said, Eli, there's only 8 outfielders mentioned total, and you're the only junior. So, I mean, he was just like, second team. You know, he just was totally defeated after that. And then I'm going through, I'm like, you led the team in this, you led the team in this. And it's just like, you're the only junior. All the rest of them are seniors. You got to pay attention to what what is happening to you. Not that he is so hard on himself. He has 2 games or 1 bad game. He goes 1 for 4, and he literally goes into a meltdown that he's had the worst game of his life, and he loses perspective of where he's at so easily. So it's just crazy. So literally after you just made that thing in perspective, and I'm literally all back and forth. I'm texting him,
Right, absolutely. Like, listen, like, well, let me ask you on that subject, Mark. So, this should probably kind of appeal to a lot of the kind of sports lovers, right? And even parents, right? Because there's nothing more disheartening I couldn't imagine than to see your child not experience the joy of success that he should, simply because there's this like a false narrative. In other words, I'm so I have my eyes so closed or so set here that I'm missing the moment right now, so to speak. How often do we do this, Mark? Like, I mean, even outside of sports, I mean, do you think that more people struggle with that than not? That like we can't even appreciate where we're at and what we've gotten because we're so consumed with what we don't have. Like, what do you think about that?
I think that's absolutely true. We are so hard on ourselves, and we don't appreciate what we have. We live in a society that everything is based on keeping up with the Joneses or something to that effect, and we always want what others have. I mean, that's one of the big 10, coveting what your neighbor has. And we grew life coveting life of someone else, coveting what they have, and we just need to get to the point where we appreciate what we have, the talents that God has given us. And I mean, when I was first starting to evangelize, I always wanted to preach like somebody else or pray like somebody else, but it just comes down to the fact that God created you, and you have your own ministry, you have your own gifts, and we have to learn to start appreciating those things.
That's good. Martinez just hopped in. Glad you're with us, Martinez. So we're Mark had a great story. I don't know if you caught it about him encouraging his son. Had a great success, but it wasn't first, right? It wasn't the first place. And, just that idea of like, man, where else in our lives are we finding ourselves missing our moment, right? Because we're wanting something that we didn't get, or you know what I mean? Like what's your thoughts upon that? You've got a great sports background, what's your thoughts on that? Oh, he might be in a place where he can't talk. So, Brittany, so Mark just told us a really neat story about perspective helping, where his son he came in second place, but he was like the youngest one, like it's one of those like, hey, bro, like everyone else is senior, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not like where you're at. You're on the brink of it. You know what I mean?
Right. He actually got second team Ohio.
Wow.
Like, think about that.
Yeah. So there's 24 people in Ohio that are on this team, on these two teams, and he is on the second team. So he's in the top 24 of the state, but I'm not in the first one. I'm not in the top 12. But there's so many politics in high school baseball. You got to nominate all these seniors. You want all these seniors nominated. But I guarantee you, in all these championship games, none of them wanted to pitch to him. They're walking him because they know that with one swing, he can end it right now. So they're intentionally the other day, they intentionally walked him with bases loaded to get to the next batter.
Wow. And for you've got to be so proud of like in the sense that your son has that reputation. Like, in other words, like you already see how the field has to shift. He's such a presence that it's like, oh, we can't just play baseball. We've got to shift strategies because we're trying to win. It's not playing the game necessarily. I mean, you are playing the game, but you understand, I can't just, like I said, I just got to walk this guy. It would be better to just give him one than to give him the opportunity to get himself and everyone in.
That's frustrating to feel, though. Just that moment.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
I'm here to play.
Pitch the ball.
And you're walking me. Like you're purposely feeding me crud, and walking me. It's just, that's frustrating.
Yeah, he laughed about it, but it's like an ultimate form of flattery.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
He used to have this shirt that he wore all the time. It says, "Just walk me, save the embarrassment."
That's great.
Well, and that is, a lot of people struggle with the same thing in terms of, not being in the place that you want to be, having a hard time celebrating where you're at because it's not where you want to be. right? That is a very common thread. I mean, in his youth, we can look at it and see the whole picture and be like, bro. But the truth of the matter is, if you step back and you say, well, are you doing the same thing in something in your life where you're not celebrating where you're at because it's not where you want to be? I'm not celebrating that first sale because it's not.
It's just one.
Yeah, it's just one sale. It's
just
not
one.
the 200K a year I'm striving for.
It's not like you're the best or something.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, and that's hard. You know, I think of that Bible verse about, you know, not despising the small things. Don't despise the small things or your youth for that matter. But yeah, just taking time for the small things, and that is a perspective shift at its finest.
Well, and I'll tell you something. Mark said to your point, and to what Mark is saying.
I don't know if I'm left field or not, guys. I was a little out MIA. I had to take.
No, you're fine. Left field. Look there.
Left field.
Like, it's interesting though. Going back to what Mark was talking about with even himself, he said, you know, when I was really finding my ministry, so to speak, he said, you know, I found myself wanting to be, or acclimating to act like someone else instead of being who I am. That being said, is there a perspective, like, in other words, like that, I don't want to celebrate my wins because the truth is I don't want people to think that I think that this is my bet. Like, you know, like there's so much, like, how much of this really boils down to I'm not being myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my perspective is not even my own, but it's like, hey, I'm acting the way I perceive others to perceive me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be looked as a showboat, or I don't want people to think that I think that this is success. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, there was something I was thinking about yesterday that went right along with that. We've got, hey Danielle. Well, you know, here's what it is. The idea of like appreciating where you're at to that point. There's a difference in that kind of celebration and let's say being content with where you are. Do you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you know, you can get, yeah, I don't want it to look like I'm content with this. I'm not okay with this. It's okay for it to not be enough, right? In terms of the large goal. It's okay for you to keep moving towards a larger goal. But I don't think that you're saying you're content by saying, I'm satisfied. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm satisfied with where I'm at. Man, I struggled with this a lot when I was pregnant, both times, because I knew I had reached a point, you know, we had reached a point, you know, we struggled with infertility for 3 years, you know, and I had felt like there was just this missing, well, we knew there was these missing links in our life, you know, and at that point, it was just becoming, you know, a longing that just ached. So when we were pregnant, I guess it was me. When I was pregnant.
All you, sister.
Yeah.
All you.
You know, I'm the kind of person, some people feel amazing pregnant. And you guys are awesome. You're wonderful unicorns. I did not. I felt miserable. And so for me, I didn't have first trimester sickness. I had all the trimesters sickness. I didn't have morning sickness. I had all day sickness. You know.
One of the biggest fights we got into was me and your dad cooking bacon.
Oh, God. Yeah, you cook bacon, and I was like over the toilet, sick as a dog.
Me and your dad like, what'd we do?
Yeah, the smell of bacon. Both times, too. But no, so I wasn't a super fan of, I was so happy for the outcome. I wasn't a fan of the process. And so I found myself just kind of almost checking out of the present because I'm just trying to get through the process, you know? Like, I just need to get through this, and once I have the baby, I'll be okay. It'll be good. And then it kind of shifted because once Anna was there, you know, oh my God, I just felt so, you know, this joy. And, you know, of course, then at that point, postpartum depression sets in, and I find myself doing the same thing. I just need to check out so I can get back to myself. I just need to get back to myself. And then by the time I start kind of feeling like it, I know we want more kids. I know that we want at least one more. So I'm going to have to do this over again. So I'm just going to check out right now. You know, and I found that I did that, you know, for the first 2 years of my firstborn's life. And I did it really for the first year and a half of Adley's. I don't say that in terms of I look back with regrets, because I don't think that's very productive. But I do feel like if I did have it to do over again, and as I approach things now, not pregnancies, but other things in life, I don't want to check out because I'm not happy with where I'm at, or because where I'm at's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to celebrate where I'm at and enjoy, because there's still so many good things, even in the seasons where you're like, this is not where I want to be. This is not where I want to be.
Right.
You know, it's still, that's life. I think you're always going to be in a season of, it's not where I want to be. It's where I'm going. That's life. So if you don't change your perspective in that and say, hey, I'm always going places, but I'm thankful for where I'm at.
Right.
I think that you will look back one day and you will have regrets, because you missed out on so much joy because of the checkout or whatever, of the disappointment.
Can I tell you something I learned the other day about celebrating your wins? They say it's so important for you to celebrate. And to your point, I'm not stuck there. We're not like, it's not about getting stuck, but they do say that when you celebrate your wins, what happens is that's a hit of dopamine. And what happens is that creates that craving to do it again. And if you're not willing to sit, like, because some people will do this, I don't want to celebrate my wins because, you know, if I get, you know, because we, in sports world, this is huge, right? Oh, he saw himself catching the ball before he ever actually got to the end zone. You know what I'm saying? Like you celebrated before you actually ever scored. But what we're saying is, no, score and celebrate, because you're going to want to do it again. You're going to motivate yourself to do it again. You're going to feel empowered to do it again, and it's going to get familiar. But if you withhold that because you're like, oh no, I gotta stay after it. No, that's going to make you want to do it again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they say like about golf. People that have never played golf, all it takes is one time, and they're like, they say an anointing falls. That's what I've heard. I hear there's an anointing that falls when you start playing golf. I'm going to experience it. I've played like a handful, and I do get it, but I've not played like as a dad, you know, like, hey, let's do this.
Well, you know, my dad always, speaking of dad, my dad says in kingdom work that you can rest but never stop. And so I think the ability to rest in your season, the ability to kind of not stop, but rest and celebrate where you're at. Yet recognize that. I think it kind of goes in the same vein of what you're saying. It doesn't mean you're stopping, you know, because some people are like, oh yeah, well, I'll celebrate when I'm at the top, or I'll celebrate when you need to celebrate. You need to take moments every step, you know, and say, I did it, you know, like recognizing that this is an amazing accomplishment. Each accomplishment, as little as it may be, because I'll tell you this. To Mark's point, even because there's so much that can be related. A lot of times we think young people, you know, it's like this is a season where just wait till life gets hard, right? But this is actually a mirror of what life will always be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is...
Don't get me started on that one.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that one. Like
this is a mirror.
Enjoy these 4 years. The rest of your life's going to be horrible.
It's a trap.
Dude, that's the worst advice I've ever heard in my life.
You're going to face the same things in adulthood. And I'll tell you this. Politics in baseball, you'll find politics in the workplace. You'll find politics in whatever denomination you find yourself in or organization you find yourself. There's politics everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you're going to find a situation where what you're bringing to the table is not recognized the way that it should be, right? We have been there, done that. Like you're going to find a situation, but if you don't take the time to celebrate yourself, each step that you take yourself, I think that the politics of it can wreck your joy. Because I'm going to tell you, for me, it all boils down to joy. Like I have to enjoy this life. I have to feel that kind of, because it's not motivation that gets me, because motivation is just wishy-washy and you can't depend on it.
We know.
Yeah, but joy, that is something that's lasting if you give it the room to flourish.
Yeah.
And part of the room to flourish is your perspective. You have to constantly take positive actions to see a positive perspective so that you may have joy.
Yeah.
And I've learned that the hard way. And case in point, my mom over the holidays, it was kind of a rough time. Sometimes holidays can be a little melancholy, a little rough. Both of my grandparents on my dad's side have gone on to be with the Lord, and sometimes holidays can be a reminder of who's not here. And so that was a present struggle that we were facing. And so I remember there was just this day, it was random. She was putting up her Christmas decor and I was organizing my garage. And so we're neighbors, like beside each other. And so I walked out, I heard Christmas music going on in my garage and she had it playing at her house. And I stepped out and I said, "Hey Mom, wait, I just want you to stop right now." I said, "This is a good moment." And she just looks at me and smiles. She goes, "It is." I said, "This is a great moment. And we're going to take a time and we're going to absorb this moment. This is so good. This is such a good moment. It's going to go away, and that's okay. When it goes away, I don't want to wish it back. I just want to appreciate that it's there. But I also want to acknowledge that even though we've had some bad moments, this good moment came."
Yeah.
And just like that, if we face bad moments tomorrow, we can be guaranteed a good moment is behind it or is in front of it.
Yeah.
So, like,
Absolutely.
have it, but to that point, like, that's a perspective shift. That's a perspective shift of, I'm going to recognize this is a good accomplishment.
Right.
Is it the accomplishment that I want? Nah, meh.
Yeah.
I would like a little bit more. That's okay, though. This is still an accomplishment. I'm going to take some time, and I'm going to recognize this is an accomplishment. And then it's going to get me through the steps that it takes to get to the other accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's all perspective.
Perspective. What's the Zoom panel think? Mark, Martinez, what you guys got? What you thinking? No pressure. No pressure. We just want to make sure number one, I appreciate y'all being here. And if this isn't obviously we're ebbing and flowing. So I do appreciate y'all being
Ava
here.
on the gram.
We got Ava. What's up, girl?
One of my favorite
Good to see
human
you.
beings.
I'm telling you, she is the bomb. The bomb diggity. All right, we got some comments up here. Oh, Danielle, you're so sweet. Kayla, I'm grateful for the pictures during my pregnancy and during the PPD.
Postpartum depression.
Oh, okay, sorry. To look back on because I couldn't be present. Oh, that's a very good point. Pictures do capture a moment really good.
Yeah.
You know, I got I don't typically get melancholy, but the other day I did. I started scrolling through my phone. I'm like, they're so big now. And that was like my kids, POM kids,
Yeah.
like.
Ava was one.
I was about to say, I saw her in Brooklyn cooking at our old house one time. I was like, oh, God, they're all grown up and such. Danielle would like some coffee, Brittany.
Oh, yes.
Get
I know.
her-
I
get her
cheers.
some
I
coffee.
cheersed her.
And never felt that Jason. Oh, golf? Yeah. Well, I hear that there's anointing.
I never felt.
on-
This comes from a girl who played
Yeah.
all through college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Let's see here. Yeah. Kayla said, celebrate the associate degree, the bachelor, the whole process, not
Yeah.
just the PhD. That's awesome. Preach. Let go. No. Yeah. Let's go. Sorry.
Let God.
I'll never let go, Jack.
Imagine how I feel when I remember you too. Probably the
TJ,
same-
don't do it.
Probably the
sir.
same way I do when I look in the mirror. It is
Where-
nuts because
Where
I don't-
have you gone?
Yeah, I don't feel a day over like 15. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, like
Like-
internally, not like body wise.
Well, the reason that's funny, perspective, back to that perspective, a couple trips ago, last year, actually, it was last summer, for the first time on student trips, I'm starting to get the old people jokes at me. Okay? Like, I've always been, young man,
Yeah.
Pastor Jay, we're going to get in here. We're going to... But I feel like I've always felt,
Yeah.
besides the gray, I feel like
Mentally.
I've looked...
I feel like you
But
clarify it's mentally because I mean sometimes physically, I feel the age.
I don't.
Oh good for you.
Well,
I don't feel it. I just had to go to the chiropractor and fix my shoulder.
well, that's because I overdid it. I'm just saying.
We both have had to go to the chiropractor multiple times.
This message brought to you by Active Spine and Joint, located in Hendersonville, Tennessee. If you hurt, they'll heal you.
And hurt you all the way.
And hurt you all the way. They'll hurt you, they just won't harm you.
Yeah.
That's,
It's true though. I mean, like in terms of what you were saying, you feel like you're
yeah, like I just feel like I'm this, but people now have a new perspective of, oh no, like I guess I'm the old guy now.
But I remember in our early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
we tried so hard to have that persona.
Oh, I've been
We wanted
18 going on 40.
Yeah,
like,
and we
forever.
felt so like there was such a frustration that we would feel from time to time because we weren't there yet. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all
Like
are
people
just so
didn't-
precious, you
Yeah.
precious young people.
Or
just
you're married, you're babies.
You're babies.
And it's like, really? It's funny. I don't do that to people that are in their teens and 20s. I don't look at them and I don't say, oh my God, you're a baby. I don't do that. I appreciate you where you're at. Like, don't make them feel bad for their age. Like, don't despise the youth.
Well, something like philosophically perspective. This is an opinion. Okay, y'all take it for what it's worth. I've done this my whole life, and then I'm also going to do this with my kids when they're this age. Mm-hmm. I've always been under the perception that if you treat a young person, okay, older than what they are, they'll aspire to how you treat them.
Honestly, we did that. We taught a kids class for quite a few years, and it was 6
through 10.
Yeah, it was. Well, 11, wasn't it? Because it was right before.
Or was it
student
6
class.
to 12?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's that in between age. I always tell people that tween age. That's the years as a tween. You never forget, but it's the age everyone forgets. In terms of making space for them. So we taught that class for quite a few years, and I remember as we structured the class, we had the kids that were on their way out, so they were like 11 and 12. Mm-hmm. We would give them certain class jobs.
They were part of the team.
Yeah,
they were actually a part of our team.
They helped orchestrate the class, like how we did it, because we did it kind of like a mini church service kind of situation. But we found that some of those kids that were in that age were also known previously to be a little, to get into some mischief.
Disruptive.
Yeah, and we never had that issue because we gave them, that sort of thing. We treated them a little bit older than what they were.
And one coming to Jesus ain't bad either.
Oh, no, you had a few of those. Yeah.
That's a perspective there. Just a little coming to Jesus moment helps.
Yeah.
Make it. But you're exactly right in the sense that some people had a perspective of, hey, this is how they act, this is how it's going to be, just be prepared, blah, blah, blah. For us, we chose to kind of go in there a little naive and a little optimistic to say, okay, well, maybe they're just bored.
Yeah.
Like maybe they want to do more than just, you know what I'm saying? And that's not by the way, that's
we didn't
not
reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, we didn't reinvent, but we had an
gleaned from other people.
Absolutely. We just took but the thing that's awesome is, and this is not our doing, this is just God's blessing and stuff. But one of the things that I love about our church is every area arguably either has student involvement, some is even ran by students.
Yeah.
That's just
you're right.
The truth. We could not do it without our young people, even our young adults that used to be students that have grown into it's unbelievable. But again, it's just a perspective. Oh, well, they're too young to do that. Really?
Actually,
I don't think so.
The reason why you can tune into our church live is because of the investment we made into teenagers.
That's true. That entire in the
even
media
the ones
booth.
that are adults now, it's the investment as teenagers.
Yeah.
That they're. I just think sometimes there's this battle between adults and students, and it's like like you need to get them involved, like get them doing something. They want involvement,
Well, and I'll tell you that they actually don't want your advice.
Right.
Like they're, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like they'll ask for it when they're ready for it, but for the most part, they don't like. They want opportunity.
Yeah. Treat them like human beings with respect.
Yeah.
And like when they're ready, they don't care how much you know till you know how much you care.
Yeah.
They're those people.
Yeah. I don't know how we got on this tangent.
I don't
like
either.
we're, this is the morning show.
Mark's
We just
son. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Mark's son.
We're gonna show him respect.
Ooh, look at that fancy door.
Ooh, we got a great comment. Here we go.
Oh goodness.
We do that to our kids.
Now,
You can
what's that?
Read that.
Oh, we got a comment. All right. Kenny says, we do that with our kiddos. We recognize how old they are and what is developmentally appropriate, but also let them know that they can do if they reach certain goals. Davis and Evie are now excelling in several areas of their growth. Now, Evie is learning to sew. Oh, wow. Good Lord.
That's awesome.
Davis is a boss at chess. Watch him now.
Oh,
Checkmate.
TJ's on here. He's going to be super proud.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
You got an opponent.
Yeah.
Sister Vite said, we need to hear this. Martinez, what you doing today? Was you running? Well, no, you was in a car. Never mind.
Yeah, I was in the car.
Yeah. How are you today?
I went and got me a false whatever.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it feels weird, but it that's a part. I'm like, are you sure?
That's the best.
But hey, going back to your perspective is great, but how it is challenging when you have preconceived notions.
Absolutely.
Like
I agree. I think that's the problem is you perceive your experience.
That goes back to yesterday. You're in your own way. Like that's, yeah.
But you keep going, Martinez. I like where you're going.
Well, I was just thinking, when you were talking about, your children or just the students at church or, sometimes, our perspective, our experiences in the past might bring with us these tools that say, well, kids are told to shut up, do what sit down and do what you're telling them to do, whereas versus looking at them as agents of change that could actually add value to the environment or whatever the situation is, there was and I'm just going to gloss over it really fast, but they did a study where they had underperforming students and, honor students. And what they did is they told the teachers that the underperforming students were actually honor students. And they had like history of underperforming. And they told the teachers, hey, these are overachievers, these are honor roll or whatever. And they said the same thing, but they switched it for the honor students. And the honors, and then the bottom line is, the honor students, which were actually honor students that they said were underachievers, when they taught down to them, and they taught up to the underachievers. Right. And they found that the underachievers actually became overachievers as it relates to honor students. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's kind of like perspective. It's kind of like the teachers probably have preconceived notions on how to teach kids, and they're like, well, if they're good students, if they meet the criteria of being like honor students, they look the part. Someone tells me that, guess what? I need to teach better. And so they taught well, and as a result, the kids perform well, whereas the honor students were actually, they had a preconceived notion that they weren't not where they needed to be. Yeah. So they talked down to them, and as a result, their grades and everything else suffered. So it's like coming in with preconceived notions can really change your perspective or have an influence on your perspective of having good outcomes there, you know?
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's interesting about that, Martinez, is your perspective, the way I'm hearing this, the way I'm feeling about what you're saying is my perspective is very closely tied to my expectation. And,
right.
And you know, they say that your expectation is the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't. Either way you think, you will be right.
Absolutely. And see, the thing about what's so important about that is oftentimes
the way you froze is awesome.
We'll figure out more after this
After
commercial break.
this commercial break.
If you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you can't. What's important about that is those people are generally not those. The people who get that are the people that are leaders.
Yeah.
And so, or the people that have influence. And so what happens is if they don't think they can teach these kids, or if they don't think they can add value to this community, then what happens is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and the kids in the community for which they are overseers suffers as a result.
Yeah.
You know, like we find that, you know, the human spirit in all of us finds a way to rise to the occasion of the bar that's set in front of them, whether it's a low bar or a high bar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the thing that's crazy is, like, there's too many teachers, too many leaders that are in place that have I don't know if I should. I don't think I should. You know, this whole hum. They don't have this life in them to believe that they have the influence. They probably they have the influence. They don't have the energy behind to make a change for the better, to change the perspective of those around them. You know, for the better. And I'm not beating up on leaders or anything like that.
No, but what
you
you're
know,
saying,
even as a father.
Yeah.
I was just going to say to that point, and I want you to jump right back in on it. The truth is, for most people to, like, in other words, everybody does what they want to do based on how they feel about doing it. Like, that's one of the reasons I'm such an advocate for, you know, make sure you are investing in your health, because the better you feel, the better you'll do. Most people would do better if they just felt better, but to that point, they don't feel better because they don't think better.
Yeah. Which
you have all of these negative thoughts about yourself or about your environment. And I'll tell you this, I think most people, there's one thing that they're waiting on before they do the thing that they should do, to think differently, to act differently. There's one missing piece: permission.
Right.
And somebody just needs to say, I give you permission to be better and to do better and to have more and to be more. I give you permission. You don't need it.
Yeah.
But that's what you're waiting on. So let me just be the permissible one. Do it.
Yeah. What's that book? Who Moved the Cheese?
Yeah.
Where they're, you know, if I remember right, it's like, you know, one of the premises is like you're waiting for someone to give you an okay to be successful, give you the right to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's so weird. It's like, but you're absolutely right. People looking for permission, or, you know, like a green light to go out and make a difference in your own life.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, consequently the life of other people. I agree with that 1,000%. You know, cause
that's a lot.
You know, it's about, like you said, getting out of your own way. Getting out of your own way.
Yeah.
This morning, I made it 2 in a row working out early in the morning. I've done it before, but life is ebbs and flows, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like you kind of you gotta like you gotta like wipe the slate clean of what your successes and failures in the past and start anew.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you know. If you focus too much on your successes, you'll never get better. And if you focus too much on your past failures, you doggone well won't ever get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so this morning I was like, okay, I don't. It was like 4:30. I'm like, I don't want to go, but I'm gonna go. And the thing about it is, it's like I might not have felt like it, but I know the end result is I won't be beating myself up for the rest of the day saying, well, doggone it, why didn't I get up? Why didn't I go work out? Why didn't I do this? You know what I mean? All that mental warfare that goes back in between your ears or whatever. But it's like getting out of your own way. Martinez, you might not have had enough time. You might not have had enough energy. It was raining. It wasn't, your clothes might not have been washed, whatever. Think about all the excuses you can. And just, here's an idea. Shut up, get started, and get it done. Yeah.
That is why Martinez is the people's coach.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. Shut up, get it done, and feel better about yourself. Dude, that's all I need to do here today.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Perfect. Oh my gosh. Let's see if we got some let's see here. TJ said children know if you care about them, and if you phone it in. Phone it in. They'll know. If you phone it in, that's what you'll get. If you care, they will grow from it. Absolutely, and they can tell if you just like, I don't really know. Like I'll even say this: preparation even goes beyond like you don't have to be the I know everything we're about to talk about, blah blah blah. But the genuine, hey, I'm glad that you're here.
Can I say something?
Okay, yeah, for sure.
So to Martinez's point, because it's beautiful, and he's talking about, you're not like slamming leadership, right? Like you're not trying to be negative to leadership. I don't take it as you're negative at all. In fact, I think you're speaking to their younger self. And the truth is, these actions that we're talking about in perspective change, you don't have to know everything. But if you apply positive perspective change within your life, it will ripple effect that will inevitably change or affect the next generation.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like just you taking positive actions for yourself, kids will notice. Because I think that it's a perpetual cycle. Negative perspective is a perpetual cycle. I've been in an environment where negativity was all I knew. And so here I am then seeping out more negativity because that's all I know. And so it takes that adult that has an aha moment. For me, I'm very careful what I say about my body, about how I feel about myself. I don't say negative things about myself at all anymore, especially in front of my daughter, because God forbid she stand in front of a mirror and think the things that I've thought about myself. So positivity and self-appreciation starts with me. I have to change my perspective so that she has a better example and hopefully can,
Well, let me say, you're talking about something I've literally had to reconsider in terms of, like you just said, like I got to be careful what I'm saying, even if I'm the only one that says it. Here's why. I have to be careful what I say because I just might hear what I said.
True. Very true. Yeah.
What if I heard that? What if, like you said, I'm cycling that in?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You say just out of
I
humor
don't think that, Matt. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep talking to yourself like garbage and see what you've got coming out.
Yeah. I heard somebody talk about that. Yourself, like you are in a relationship with yourself, like you obviously have a relationship going on. Like imagine the way you treat yourself. Imagine if that was an external relationship. would that be an abusive and toxic relationship? Because more often than not, unfortunately, yes, would be the case. If I was treated, if somebody treated me the way I treat myself, I would get out of that relationship so quickly because it would be toxic and negative. You know, like, wow, like that's, you know, and yet at the same time, that's what we're doing to ourselves, you know? And so those active changes that inevitably are good for you are great for the next generation, because then they will glean from that. They will feel that positivity, you know?
Employee. I don't know what that means. Becky said I need to tell an employee something. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It is,
Yeah, I love that perspective. I love that perspective, Brittany. You know, if I was with myself, would that be would I break up or divorce whatever? You know, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sitting here. My head is still in a knot trying to figure that out. You know,
you're having an aha moment.
how do I leave my? You know, it's like a man torn, you know, between himself. But you know, I'm trying to have an out of body experience over here.
I can't take credit. So,
you know,
some of them Instagram people said it, and I was like, "Dear Lord," like that. Yeah.
I'm like, as if I don't have enough to think about already. But you know, but going back to, you know, what you know, as far as your perspective and how influenceable that is on not just you, but your children. And, you know, I was just thinking about how, like, you know, in general, like my world that I have around me is a direct reflection of my thoughts and ideas, right? You know, so like I have nobody to blame or to point fingers at than myself for what is lacking in my life.
Yeah.
Now, for what the abundance in my life, I can't take credit for, because God knows I've had men and women who have spoken into my life, who have taught me and given me skill to get to where I want to be. But I, you know, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, your surrounding area, the influence that you have, the leadership, like David, you know, he slayed a giant, right? And there, you know, in Jericho, you know, there were giants in the land, they slayed them, but David slayed Goliath. And you move forward in the Bible, and it talks about how he had, you know, these handful of men that were great men that also were slayed giants. And I said that to say, like, I don't think, though the Bible's quiet on this, I think, you know, it was David seeing that the giant could be slayed by David, inspired other men around him to believe that they also could slay giants, you know? And so you get from the giant killer, the giant killer begets other giant killers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like my perspective about life, you know, unfortunately, and it's scary, a lot of times, you know, my household won't go any further than the knowledge and the intellect and the input that I have, you know what I mean? The liberty that I give them. That my business, if I, you know, it's interesting. There's been lots of people who had businesses that could only take them so far, and then they sold them off. You know, only doing 100. McDonald's is one of them. You know, the McDonald's brothers could only take it so far, and Ray Kroc or whoever took it and made it into a multi-million-dollar business. Now somebody else taking this $1 billion. You know what I mean? It's kind of like there was a ceiling on, you know, the original McDonald's founders' business vision or insight or ability to inspire their staff to grow that business. Someone else had to take it, you know? And so anyway, not to belabor over it, the idea is, you know, it is very important that we as people take in the right perspective, the right knowledge,
get as much info that we need to go to the next level, because it influences and impacts the people that are around us, whether we want it to or not.
Right.
Period.
Right. Absolutely. On that note, unfortunately, we do have to go. It is 9:00. Becky said to everyone, she said, I have to run. LOL, in the words of Martinez, shut up and get it done Tuesday.
It's a new theme, yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, come back tomorrow. We're still talking about perspective. We're still talking about, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Be willing to share your perspective, right? Because that's actually how we learn, is we begin to be able to see things in ways that maybe we never considered.
Exactly.
We want to get out of our own way, and that's the power of this community. So we get to learn from each other. I love it.
I've got a little biblical nugget for y'all tomorrow.
Oh, snap. It's Women Wednesday.
I got a little
Wisdom Wednesday.
Little Devo point for you.
Worship Wednesday. Yeah. Work it Wednesday. Let's go. Awesome. Well, you all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Own the day.